So if you prove that scientifically God exists, what would that look like?
It physically will look like nothing because God is in with. I don't. I think one again. Maybe this is a controversial statement, but I think one of the problems with current religion is that there's a fixation on physical, materialistic stuff, right? And
Mhm.
that oh, God is this white dude and a beard sitting on a cloud, and people fixate on a physical book, on a cross, and they don't realize no, God is in with all of us.
Every challenge holds a story. Every struggle is a spark. Welcome to A Legend Forged, where athletes, heroes, and fearless fighters of disability defy the odds and rewrite the rules. Learn to live an unfiltered life with the unstoppable Aron O'Dowd. A Legend Forged begins now. Coming up today with host Aron O'Dowd on A Legend Forged, Aron talks with Dr. Leong Ying. He's a multifaceted visionary, a nuclear scientist turned author and producer who blends science, art, and philanthropy into a global mission. As a creator of our collective, Dr. Ying leads a global alliance of artists, activists, and entrepreneurs unified by a common purpose, aligning innovation and commercial success with social good. Get ready for a conversation about God, multiverses, science, and the human heart. As we join the conversation, host Aron O'Dowd is enjoying a good laugh as he begins to explore Dr. Ying's upbringing. Here now is Aron O'Dowd.
You don't sound American. Where are you from?
Well, I sound very British because I spent 3 decades in England. Although I was born in Singapore, but my family emigrated to the UK in the late 60s. And I spent most of my time in Liverpool, which has the greatest football team in the entire world, for those
And,
that's not aware of it. So I've moved around quite a bit.
and what makes you special, Leon, and what you do?
Well, I guess we're all special, in that regard. But in terms of my speciality, I guess I'm the crazy nuclear physicist who claim arrogantly to have scientifically proven the existence of this single omnipotent, which is obviously God. So that is my mission in life now, and I think that's what makes me special or nutty, depending on which side of the coin you're looking at.
Cool, I love it. And as a kid, did you always want to become a nuclear physicist?
Well, actually, it's sort of, I always had linguistic problems, believe it or not. And a lot of people think I'm actually very articulate communication wise. But growing up, I had dyslexia, word blindness. So I've always been backward on my English stuff. So I guess I gravitated because obviously I don't want to sound too racist because I'm Chinese. We Chinese are either engineers or doctors and whatever. So I gravitated to science stuff, and I was good at it. The technical side of it, actually, I enjoyed perhaps chemistry better than physics. So it was a coin toss whether I became a chemist or a physicist. And luckily or unluckily, I chose the path of physics.
Seeing you in chemistry, wow, that'd be incredible.
Yeah, I could probably make a lot of stink bombs if I became a chemist. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what did you love about physics?
Well, obviously, now that even in my path to, I said, defining, proving the existence of God, physics lays that foundation for everything, for all science. Again, I don't want to sound too arrogant, but even the stock exchange, how chaos controls the stock market, in the engineering field, all the engineering formulas are based on physics equations, on Newton's laws of mechanics. So everything in life, in biology, how things interact, chemistry, the E equals MC squared relate to how chemical reaction, nuclear reaction behave. So physics pretty much give you a grounding into all subject matters, obviously on the technical side of stuff, of course. So that's why I love physics, because it gives a very good grounding, a very good informative base to every other science and technology, which I love.
No way, you wouldn't think, it all comes back to stock exchanges and everything. You think, "No, no, it's this and that," but you start going deep, it's actually, wow, it's at the foreground and the background of what we do.
Correct. Yes, that's right. It's although I used to be arrogant and state that physics was the foundational basis of all, of all our existence. But now I'm actually changing my thing and deciding that actually mathematics is really the reality, the foundation of reality that's built on top of that. So I apologize to my fellow mathematician for my arrogant thing. Physics. Was the greatest thing. But I'm now more inclined that mathematics is actually the foundational basis of reality itself. So
Why do you think and feel you're arrogant?
well, that is a very perplexing, or I won't say perplexing, uh, statement in the sense that if you haven't met me, sometimes people just come across me the first time. I make these exorbitant claims, right? That I'm going to scientifically prove God, and if you don't know someone, obviously you and I have known each other for a while now. You
Mhm.
know that no, that's not an arrogant state. An arrogant state to me, an arrogant person is someone who said they're going to do something like they're going to climb Mount Everest, and then they sit as couch potato on the settee for the rest of their life. To me, that's an arrogant person, right? A person who says he's going to climb Mount Everest and he goes and at least tries to climb Mount Everest, then that's not an arrogant plate. That's someone who's got a mission in life. So if you don't know me, I make these statements and I sit on my couch not doing anything, then yeah, that may be perceived as arrogant. So maybe I'm just catching people's perception to begin with that I'm making these arrogant statements, but I will prove it not just in my talking, but also in my walking. So my walking will hopefully demonstrate that I'm not ultimately an arrogant person. I'm just stating a fact that I am going to accomplish these tasks that I set forth, even though the task may sound impossible or hard to achieve. It's like climbing Everest. It's the attempting that matters.
And what has been your conquering Everest in your life?
Well, as I said to you, the scientific proven God, that is my pinnacle of Everest. So I've not climbed it yet. So, but I'm I guess if you want to use the analogy, I'm off base camp. So I started base camp about 20 years ago. That's when I first developed the scientific proof. Actually, it was in 2002 that I wrote the formula of the twin universe, which I arrogant state will one day win me the Nobel Prize in physics. Not because I stated, but it's the only scientific theory that not just explains God, but also explains things like dark energy, which is the acceleration of the universe, dark matter, which explains the rapid rotation of galaxy, missing antimatter, even quantum entanglement. So that's where my bold statement is that is the only science that actually explains quantitatively and qualitatively all those facets of science. But obviously, the ultimate discovery is this single omnipotent consciousness, aka my technical word for God. So I've been working 20 years climbing this Everest. So I believe I'm off ground base now, and maybe halfway up my Everest, and hopefully I'll survive and reach that pinnacle accomplishment. But like you said, sometimes it's not what you accomplish, but it's the journey that you go towards that accomplishment that is most important.
Mhm. And why is it important for you to achieve this?
Uh, well, to be honest with you, I really believe that humanity, even in this space age that we are right now, really needs God, really needs that moral control. Now, I was not a God believer. In fact, I was the opposite. When I entered science, I became a God bigot. I thought people that were spiritual, believing God, were a bunch of losers. I was on the dark side. So it was only when I discovered this twin universe that, for the first 10 years after I proved it, and I wrote in my formula, proof of God, I spent 10 years trying to disprove myself because, like I said to you, I'm literally a God bigot. But the more I tried to disprove myself, the more I came to our realization, no, this is the reality. So maybe that's why, I don't want to make it sound, but maybe that's why God picked me. God picked a skeptical like me to actually prove his existence. So if I can prove God's existence through myself, who's the biggest skeptic, then yeah, maybe that's the reason why I was chosen to climb this Everest, and this chosen path that I was given.
And is that your legacy and mission you feel like you're here to do on this planet?
Yes, I mean that is my legacy. I'm 63 years old, so I'm not the young whippersnapper anymore. The young kid. So I'm not so much in the sex, drug, and rock and roll type thing now. I'm here to leave a proud legacy that my ancestors will be proud of. So yes, that is a very, very important aspect of my journey to come, is to leave a proud legacy, and not just so when my time to leave this earth, I don't want to just have a tombstone. I want a legacy beyond just the physicality.
So if you prove that scientifically God exists, what would that look like?
It physically will look like nothing, because God is in with. I don't. I think again, maybe this is a controversial statement, but I think one of the problems with current religion is that there's a fixation on physical, materialistic stuff, right? And
Mhm.
that God is this white dude and a beard sitting on a cloud, and people fixate on a physical book, on a cross, and they don't realize, no, God is in with all of us. You don't need to go to a church or synagogue or mosque to be one with God. God is all around us. God is within each of us. And I believe genuinely, even though it may be controversial, that is where there's a disjoint to people's association with God. They see it as too materialistic. So to me, that is where my one God, one religion, because logically speaking, obviously I believe in the monotheistic
Mhm.
aspect of God, that there is only one God, just like Abrahamic religion, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So logically speaking, again, I'm a science and mathematician. If there's only one God, there should only be one religion. Full stop. That's what
Mhm.
logically it should be. So that is. So it's not the seeing. Is where I can prove to people who are cynical or who I believe don't see God except beyond something like you said. They have to see it. They have to touch it. But to me, you can't see God. You can't touch God. Is it
No.
within it? So if I can prove that essence to people and help them find their God within themselves, then hopefully that is my main task in life.
How would it feel if you went and achieved that in your life?
Well, obviously, I have I'm start because I publish my works, including my scientific publication as well. So I'm not shy about it. So obviously, am I getting recognition? Absolutely. 20 years ago, when I first announced my twin universe discovery, my fellow scientists, a lot of them laughed at me. They like seriously. They took me as not seriously. But now the good news is, after 20 years, a lot of the fellow scientists are now jumping on the same proverbial bandwagon. So now you hear commonly on a lot of scientific shows and whatever to talk about, parallel universes, multiverses, and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
now when I talk about my twin universe, guess what? My fellow scientists are no longer laughing. In fact, I would say quite a few of them are actually trying to take the credit that they discovered. I don't really care who takes the credit, because I already have my publication out there. In fact, I would say I'm not the first to postulate the twin universe. You earlier mentioned about name, and I said the yin yang. Well, Taoism, the yin yang is about the duality,
Mhm.
the duality
Yeah.
of the yin yang. Well, they knew that thousands of years ago, 4,000 years ago. Similarly, like Greek mythology, uh, Zeus was not the first god. It was a Gaia and chaos. So even the Greek 1,000 years know about the duality. So I'm just explaining God, or the twin universe, using modern science, using modern mathematics. But to me, the ancient already knew about the duality of our life
Mhm.
thousands and thousands of years ago.
So we must live in thousands upon thousands of multi-dimensionals while sitting right near having this exact conversation, you know?
Well, although it's a multiverse, my multiverse is n equals 2, not n equals infinity. Obviously, there are people who believe that we have a multiverse where, like quantum mechanics, there's an infinite number of universes. But mine is the parallel is a twin. So instead, n equals infinity or many, many, many worlds. Mine is just two worlds. So there's only two worlds. So you and I are talking in this, what I term as the positive universe. But
Hmm.
in the other negative universe, you and I are also having this chat. Although our physical appearance is different from what we are here. And obviously, I can go into a bit more technical explanation if that is. But in my twin universe, there's only n equals two worlds.
Wow. I guess there's a negative aspect of you talking about different things that we're not aware of, you know?
Well, in the other negative universe, we're actually reflection. All actions and properties are actually exactly. So you and I are talking about the same subject matter right now in the
Hmm.
negative universe, but our forms are different. So just like I'll go a little bit technical, just like light is a dual existence. It exists both as a particle and as a wave. That's the duality principle. So I didn't make that up. That's well known in physics. Well,
Hmm.
in our positive universe, you and I exist as individual solid particles, bodies. So you have your body, I have my body. But in the negative universe, we are not physical, we are waves. So one thing about waves, they're superimposed. So in the other universe, we are superimposed, not just both of us, but everyone else on this planet and every other living entity in the entire universe. And this is where it comes to the single omnipotent consciousness. So we are technically combined as one, as God.
I know if you start reading through the different scriptures and different texts from different religions, it's about love. Is that something scientific you can prove as part of your theory for God?
I well, the word proven of love is very difficult because love, unlike other, do I believe love is a genuine cosmic force? Yes, I do, and I'm not the only one. I mean, all the great scientists, including Einstein, were all believe that. In fact, Einstein and Newton, even Newton, was tried to prove the existence of God, and I believe that the force that connects us to God is through this force, cosmic force called love. But unlike the other four or five forces of nature, I'm old-fashioned, so I separate electromagnetism as electricity and magnetism. But the other one's
Mhm.
gravity, the weak force, the strong force. So I believe that. But all those can be experimentally proven. But love has, as of yet, other than you say, well, a mother loves a child, that's the purest sense of love, right? So, you can say, but can you is that an experimental proof? Well, yeah, I would say that is because you can feel it. Each one of us, when we love, we can sort of feel something, right, that we cannot
Mhm.
explain. But all
Mhm.
the other forces we can write equation to. But love, now I actually wrote an equation for love, but
No way.
again, it is intangible to actually quantify it, and that's the
Mhm.
part of it which love. So when you were proven, that cannot yet be done with force of love.
What do you love to do?
Well, as I mentioned to you, my first love is for Liverpool Football Club. So
Yes.
I hope they win the quadruple this year. That's the Premier League, the Champions League, the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the World Cup. They win everything. So that's my passion is Liverpool Football Club. So I love obviously watching them. Uh, obviously, I this creation, the logo behind me is called Our Collective. So our collective global alliance that I created in 2015. In fact, this is our 10-year anniversary. So it's created on the three holy pillars of the ABC, which is art, business, and charity. And that is the creation that I want to leave the legacy to. So, but that's more like business like in our collective that I want to build our collective so it becomes the most powerful global alliance on planet Earth. And that obviously encapsulate all the activities that myself, my wife, Andrea Wen, and our global alliance are trying to accomplish in those fields. So that is more of like I said, business related type entity. But in terms of my hobbies and love, then I just love supporting Liverpool Football Club.
You ran 7 marathons in 7 continents, is that correct?
I have a bucket list like most people. So
Okay.
about 20 years ago, I signed up and got into New York Marathon. So I hate running, believe it or not. So I said,
No
I'm
way.
going to go run one marathon and then tick it off my bucket list. And then I'll become a couch potato and become a 300-pound potato chip eating slob. So that's my how's my going life. But when I ran the New York Marathon, I was a couple of 100 yards from the finish line, and I was so exhausted. And then this giant costume, Scooby-Doo costume, about 8-9 foot tall, or it looked that tall, overtook me and crossed the finishing line in front of me. I was so embarrassed for myself. I'm like, oh my God, I've been beaten by a 9-foot Scooby-Doo guy, you know? And I'm saying,
Yeah.
you know, if I ever get to a pearly gate, God or Paul will ask me, what's your accomplishment? You did great, Dr. Ying, but you got beaten by a 9-foot Scooby-Doo. I mean, that ain't good. Sorry, you're going to go to hell. So in that joking, that actually motivate me to like, you know, I can't leave this bucket list as, you know, tick marathon done, but beaten by a 9-foot Scooby-Doo. So that motivate me. But then because I hate running, I did marathon adventures where you go around the world, you run in exotic places. So I combine my love for traveling with my hate for running that forced me to run marathon. That's why I end up running the 7-continent marathon. But I have to thank that guy, whoever you are out there that ran that marathon in the 9-foot Scooby. Thank you. You motivate me to conquer one of my main accomplishments.
What else is on your bucket list?
So one of my goals right now is to develop Clydesdale the movie and Clydesdale the game to the masses, because obviously the science is hardcore, and to the mass to regular Joe in the street, it can be hard to digest. So my goal is to simplify the theory into a platform, a media platform, which the rest of the world, the mass media, can consume, and that is Clydesdale the movie and Clydesdale the game, which I and my partner Andrew Wen are working on right now.
Do you ever sit down and sleep? Or I know you watch the football, but it sounds like your brain is constantly building and creating big things in the world.
Yes, that is literally a non-stop, which obviously has its plus, but it has its negativity as well, in the sense that, like I said to you, I'm just always constantly non-stop in the head. Like if you can see steam coming out of my ears, it probably is coming out of my ears non-stop. I don't think that's necessarily a healthy thing when you're so preoccupied, like, you know, every second of the day. But I guess that's what my mission is, my passion is, and you know, and that's what drives me every day when I wake up to when I go to sleep. You know, so yeah, I don't regret it at all.
You know, I was watching a movie there some time ago, The Queen's Gambit. There's a scene where she's looking up at the ceiling and she's seeing the chess pieces on the ceiling. I bet you see the same thing in everything you're creating, right?
Well, yes. In fact, a lot of scientific discovery, even like the discovery of the DNA, Crick said he got it. He saw the vision in a dream, the helix, and even the great Nicholas Tesla said he got a lot of his answers through his dream, through dream state. Well, believe it or not, so did I. A lot of the answers I got basically when I woke up, and I got the inspiration for that. So I believe when you sleep, you take away all the external stimulus that corrupts the mind, and your mind, when it sleeps, can actually link up. So in this case, obviously it was a twin universe. I believe it links up with my twin in the negative universe, and that's what fed the answer to me. And then when I wake up, hopefully I remember enough of it to put it down and say, "Oh, okay, well this worked." So yeah, I believe that, you know, that connection to the other universe is through the sleep, or through, you know, like I said to you, through the spiritual connection. I have a tendency when I go to sleep just to think of the problems in my mind before I sleep, and sometimes when I wake up, the solution pops into my head because I slept on it overnight. And the subconscious mind, where it's linking through the other universe, or your mind is relaxed enough to focus on one problem and one solution, it gives whatever it is. But I said to you, I get a lot of my answers following sleep periods.
It sounds like you eat mathematics for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know.
Yeah, you know, it's like again, like a lot of autistic people who are, they'll tell you when they see numbers, they actually hear music, or vice versa. That's why there's a strong correlation with mathematics and music. And in essence, that's what I'm trying to do when I'm unifying religion and science. Well, maths and music may seem polarized, but actually a lot of people say, they're actually very interconnected in the brain. Like we have the left side of the brain and the right side. One is for science and one's for thing. Well, yeah, they're interconnected. And that's part of my life now, is to connect the spirituality with the scientific aspects of our existence.
Why is it so important to serve the world?
Well, this is maybe a paradox for me. I don't really care about the world. I know that sounds very paradoxical, right?
Mhm.
Is this it's just like any human. I'm not superhuman in that sense. I have empathy like everyone else, but I also have cynicism like everyone else. We all have an angel on one shoulder and a devil on the other shoulder, right? We all
Right.
have. I'm not unique in that respect, right? None of us is a true angel. None of us is a true demon, right? So I don't claim that I have a halo over my head and an angelic wing, and that's what I'm here to save the world. So my goal is, I genuinely believe that I begin this task to basically deliver God once more to earth. This time through science, right? Science is my approach to God. So that is my deliverance of knowledge and truth to humanity. Whether humanity take that, which I obviously would want them to, for my own legacy, for my own ego, but how humanity uh, use that knowledge and that truth, hopefully for the right approach. So, because if you don't go down the right approach, I believe humanity will kill itself into extinction because of the mass weapon of destruction. Even AI is a potential threat to humanity itself. So if humanity don't go down the right path, it will go down the path of extinction like the dinosaur.
Do you feel, believe, and think you're a messenger for God in today's world?
Absolutely. I mean, the definition of a prophet, right, is someone that delivers God's message. I mean, in the
Mhm.
simplistic term, right? So, am I a prophet? Yes, because am I delivering message from God? Yes, I generally believe it. Like I said to you, the message I mentioned to you earlier came through me in a dream. So, I would even say that the answers were given to me from some other entity, from some other realm, etc. So I am delivering a God's message. So does that make me a prophet? Well, by the definition of, yeah, a prophet is anyone that basically does God dealing, delivers God's message to a world. So yeah.
For sure. And do you feel like it's a burden or a weight on your shoulders to be carrying these messages in some way?
Sometimes, when again, I'm human, right?
Mhm.
I have my dark times and I have my happy times, I have my sad time. So yeah, when I'm down in the dump, yeah, I do feel it as a burden. Luckily, my upbeat time. So as I tell my wife, she always asks me, "Well, you're taking on so much," and I said, "Well, each of these tasks that I have, I treat it like a balloon. So I, instead of having a heavy weight put on my shoulder, I'm putting these balloons on my shoulder. So these balloons, instead of weighing me down, they're actually lifting me up. So that's how I explain that. I can put all these tasks, these balloon tasks. So on each of the balloon is proving God, making Clydesdale movie thing. And these are balloons filled with helium, which is lighter than air. So they float. So I'm putting these on my shoulder. And these tasks, these balloons are actually lifting me up and not weighing me down. That's how I feel that is why I can basically take on a lot of these tasks, a lot of these things which people may consider burden, but I believe these are uplifting me. And that's one thing that makes me, wake up in the morning and these balloons are lifting me up for another day of adventure, of conquering the world. So that's how I perceive it. But yeah, there are dark times when I go outside and I do feel those balloons are not filled with helium but filled with lead. But thankfully, those are not too often. Most of the time, those helium are filled with helium.
Where can people find if they want to get to know more about you, see what you're doing, and be part of your movement?
Well, obviously, my Clydesdale 501 mission, Clydesdale spelled Klystar. So Clydestar.com. follow that. All the social media platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever is linked to Clystar. And hopefully you will see Clystar the movie and Clystar the game in years to come that will deliver my message to the masses through the media.
And that's going to do it for a Legend Forge show. But Dr. Ying's story is a powerful reminder that science and heart, innovation and inspiration can converge into one extraordinary journey. Join us next time as Aron O'Dowd continues to showcase those who rise above disabilities and life situations to live extraordinary lives and make an impact in the world today.